Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the podcast. In this episode, I got to sit down with Dan Raffell. Now, Dan is the National Coordinator for Smart Recovery, which is an organisation that helps people with addictions. And in this episode, I sat down with Dan and we chatted more about his own personal journey. He struggled with addiction in the past and he's been able to be set free from that, which is incredible. Yeah, and he was just a really open and honest guy with an amazing story and a lot of value and wisdom to share through that. And we had so much fun at the same time. He's a real larrikin of a guy. He's from Scotland, so maybe that's part of his culture and his heritage. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I had an absolute blast sitting down with him. I learnt so much, and his story is pretty heavy in some part, and it's been amazing to see how he's come out of that on the other side. So I really hope you enjoyed this conversation with Dan Raffell. I had so much fun recording with him, and I learnt a lot, and I know you will too. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, guys. So what were you saying? You're saying it's about a year, it's been a year since, like, you first. What did you?
Well, I remember I was watching a couple of your initial ones, and I was like, "That's quite interesting." And I sent you a message just to say, like, "Good job," and happy to kind of have a chat with you one time. And he said, "Yeah, definitely." And I think you were obviously looking for people at that moment.
Yeah.
So within a couple of weeks, we'd line something up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was March 27th. 2019, and I only knew that because when we finally pinned it down today after multiple times,
Yeah.
I looked back and I was like, no way, man.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
crazy.
It is nuts,
Like,
isn't it?
where does life go so fast when you're in this kind of, yeah.
And I it's one of those things with, it's, I know if you find yourself saying every year, oh, this year's going so much faster.
Yeah.
But, and it sounds silly, but this year has gone so fast. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what it is with this year. I can't keep up.
So at March, I still feel like it's the beginning of the
year.
Still.
True.
I still feel like I'm in that kind of, we're not right into the new year yet. Some of the resolutions are still clutching on.
Yeah,
still clinging on.
Still trying to figure out if you want to commit to it.
I don't have resolutions. I don't. Well, I mean, we, as a family, we tend to have a word for ourselves,
Sorry, a word for yourself.
Yeah, like a word for our family, some mantra or some type of kind of philosophy for the year.
Yeah.
We'd like to, and this year was balance.
Yeah.
Because I just think you can just focus too much on certain things and it pulls you away from things that are important.
You're just overextending sort of
thing.
Yeah,
just no margin left in your life,
Yeah.
And it was
which is key.
You run at capacity just constantly. And when something happens, you wonder why your kind of wheels are falling off, it's like, because I'm not allowing myself that space to adapt and just kind of rest as well, and
I think as well,
self-care.
The what I've found, and especially something I've been sort of focusing on at the start of the year, is that balance. I don't know if you agree with this or not, but it's so different for every single person. So the scales are tipped differently. And so I think so often we see, like I've been told before, like, oh, that's not balance. That's not a balanced lifestyle. You can't do that so often. But I'm like, well, hang on. I have to figure out what's balanced for me as well.
Exactly. And, it's something that I do talk about with, participants that I work with and stuff, and I'm sure we'll get to that later on, but it's talking about a balanced life, but really your values and your core beliefs are completely different to mine.
Yeah, exactly.
Who am I to say to you that your life's not balanced?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's like pretty much like a controlling and a judgment upon you and what you choose for your life. So you figure it out for yourself. There are certain domains that are common.
Yeah.
Family, friends, work, spiritual, health, all these normal things. But if I was to ask you to rate them of importance and also rate them of how much you're actually prioritizing them, they're going to be very different.
Yeah, exactly.
Because everyone says health, most important thing. It's the first thing.
Or family.
Health of family.
Yeah.
the thing is, if you've got none of them, it just makes it difficult. If you've not got good health, it's really difficult to do anything, isn't it?
Yeah, you can have everything
but
else.
We don't always, we say that's important, but we don't always prioritise it.
Yeah.
So,
health's the most important as I'm lighting up a cigarette.
Smoking away. I just want to be fit and healthy and eating Big Macs and stuff.
Have my family dinner box for myself.
Like
that
KFC,
is delicious though.
Like 3-piece box with extra 4 pieces.
I saw, this is another quick little tangent. I saw in America they now have a KFC released like a donut. So it's 2 donuts with chicken in between. And that's your like burger. Oh. And it's like one of those.
Getting palpitations just listening to that. Like...
But it's like a glazed donut. And they're like, this is our new dish. You like that?
Well, look, I mean, to be honest, nothing's going to surprise me. I'm a Scotsman, after all. And the deep fried Mars bar is where the origin of Scotland came.
Yeah, right, okay.
Let's just get, something with thousands of calories and cover it in sweet butter and dip it in
I've never had one.
Pan of lard.
Yeah. What could be better?
But to be honest, it's delicious.
Yeah, I can quite
only
imagine.
A wee half or something with some ice cream. But honestly, I've not had that for a long time.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably have a heart attack if I trying to make good choices at the minute. Mate.
Yeah, it's all about the balance.
I've got a wife who makes good choices in her health, but I'm getting there, mate.
Gotta do what you can do.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Scotland. So like obviously when I listened to you, you're from Scotland. It's pretty thick.
Nah, mate. Hold on. I've got a passport now. It says Australia on it, right?
That's not too bad.
I'm going to stop that. That's going to get embarrassing.
That's actually really quite good.
Yeah, I'm from Scotland. And I thought to myself, I saw your little podcast, your huge, successfully amazing podcast.
Well, by the time people listen, yeah.
Right. Going to YouTube now, and I thought, you know what? If this ends up on YouTube, I would encourage people to put the closed captions on just to see what the Scottish accent sounds in closed captions. Because honestly, I've watched some Scottish comedy and things like that, and the closed captions is hilarious.
You just can't keep
what stuff comes up. It's hilarious. And to be honest, I have a fairly refined accent now because I travel and I've trained people and stuff, and I can't talk in the same dialect.
No.
There's no way people would understand. So even though I've got an accent, little bit Australian comes in there.
Yeah. So you find that are you intentionally kind of...
I have to slow down.
Yeah.
I have to enunciate my words.
Yeah.
Enunciate my words properly, Richard. But honestly, it's taking me a while of people just going,
yeah.
What?
Well, there's been quite a few times where I've been speaking to you and I'm like...
And that's me really trying.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I can get to the story later, but my in-laws, where we developed a relationship over Skype, because they were in New Zealand, my fiance
it's quite a different
at
accent.
the time was in Scotland. They'd be just, what do you say?
Yeah, what does he say?
What?
They don't, I guess it's good though. Like they couldn't really pass too much judgment because they didn't know what you were saying.
Yeah. But let's try it out for a little minute. Let's see if you can understand a couple of little Scottish dialect phrases.
Yeah, go for it.
Because obviously the Scottish language, traditionally, the old language is Gaelic, right?
Yes.
But no one speaks that anymore.
No.
Probably the
pretty...
the Tuchters, the 70, 80, 90-year-old people up in the middle of the Highlands might understand a little bit.
So is that a totally different dialect?
It sounds, you would
all
know.
different words.
Like what? You just you've got some stuck in your throat, mate. Like you're just
like deep fried Mars bar.
It's a deep fried Mars bar. You're having a heart attack. Maybe that's what happened. It's not a language at all. It's just some deep fried Mars bar.
That's why it's died out, because everybody else died out that smoke it.
Realising that healthy options. So that doesn't get spoken much in a normal population in Scotland, but each region has a dialect. And I'm sure that's the same in Australia, but not a traditionally long culture of language really in Australia, obviously. Other than you talk about Indigenous, you've got thousands of languages Indigenous, so probably not. The dialects are a little bit different.
Yeah.
So you might have certain words, but there is a kind of a standard Scottish that people would know as well, like certain dialects as well. Like even just you can't. What I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Get what I mean?
Yeah, it just means, do you know what I'm saying?
Just done 1,000 times too fast.
It's that quick.
Yeah.
Like, What are you havering about?
Nah, not a chance.
What are you havering about?
What's that?
Havering means, if you've never seen the Proclaimers, that's actually one of their lines. When I haver, which means when I'm chatting on a bit too much, when I'm talking too much.
Yeah,
so
right.
what are you talking about, Richard? What are you havering on about?
Yeah, right.
So there's words like that, and I don't know where they come from. I don't know if some of it comes from the Gaelic or not, but and I think probably back in the days as well, not only was there that speed of the accent and the dialect and the random words, I probably spoke a few fruity words in there as well, so every second word would be effing and that and what have you, that's just kind of life back then. So, if you'd met me back then, mate, you would have no podcast tonight. Because YouTube captions will never pick up any of that.
Not a chance. No. So where were you born? So you were born in Scotland. What part of Scotland?
A place called Kirkcaldy. What's Kirkcaldy famous for? Jack Vetriano. Do you know Jack Vetriano? He's a famous painter. Snow Patrol.
Oh yeah.
Snow Patrol were for
chasing
Kirkcaldy.
Cars. Is that
Yes,
song?
yeah. Snow Patrol.
Oh,
Anyway,
they're a good band.
Born there, but didn't grow up there. So I'm now I've got to count back the years how old you are now. I missed a year of my life.
Oh really?
Or I thought I was younger. I think 2 years ago, I was 39. I was like, people ask me, I'm going to be 40. And they're like, wait a minute, you were born in 70. Oh, I'm only 39. I'm like, I gained a year of my life. I'm like, what am I going to do with that year? Right? And we're going to do something really super positive. And I'll just do the same stuff I've done every year.
So you're gearing yourself up to turn 40.
Yeah, I forgot. You get to a certain age, you just start forgetting how old you are. I'll be 41 in June. Grew up in Fife, which is where Kirkcaldy's like a county.
Oh yeah, I've heard of Fife.
So St Andrews is probably the closest area that people know, because Wills and Kate obviously fell in love there. So grew up in a small village there, really. I was in a bigger town when I was about 3, and I moved to I call a village, I don't know, a couple of thousand people maybe.
Like a country town almost in Australia.
It felt bigger to me in that when I was younger. I have been back since, and the roads are small. I'm like, they feel like this giant. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. The perspective of you when you're 7, 8, 9, whatever.
Yeah, that would be strange actually.
But I'd say it was a town. I'd say it was a town. It wasn't a city or a village somewhere in the middle of there.
Yeah.
But, pretty normal place, to be honest. Normal Scottish little Scottish town.
Yeah.
But, and it's actually a really good place to grow up, I think,
Probably being a bit smaller. Were you kind of like, see, this is the picture I have in my head, is like everybody kind of knows it.
Not that small.
Not that small.
Small where like everybody knows each other's business.
So not like one of those like BBC kind of like a like the British
Emmerdale or something like that. Yeah. They're probably the size of Emmerdale. I don't know. Everyone didn't know everyone, but you'd know a few.
Yes.
And obviously you'd grow up there's only one primary school there, so you'd know everyone in that school and their families and stuff, and so. I wouldn't say everyone would know each other, so it was a bit bigger than that. But it was a pretty decent childhood in some ways. I've got when I was thinking about this podcast, and I'm just thinking, it's crazy when you start reflecting on your life and stuff. And
well, that's why I like sitting down with people, because it helps them kind of do this a bit.
And so sleepy little town, and I can't remember my first memories, to be honest. Well. You remember your first memory? I don't know.
Does that even make sense?
If you put pressure on me to say what was your first memory, I don't actually know.
No.
I can remember being in Ladybank, when I was young and mucking about in my garden, playing in my garden and stuff. So, but primary school was cool. It was fine. I was kind of, fairly social, a little bit shy growing up, slow to warm up, I like to say.
Okay, yeah.
But I always... I always had a few friends, and most didn't have too many enemies growing up. Or
that's always good.
more importantly, when I got a bit older, that's even more important. But yeah, it was a good place. I was just reflecting on some of the mad stuff I used to do as a kid, and it's very different today. I couldn't imagine my son. I mean, my son's only 5, but I remember just be quite common at the weekends after primary school or whatever to get your backpack, your jam and peanut butter sandwiches, and a wee bottle of Scoosh, a bottle of ginger, a bottle of fizzy juice from the shop. You know, the big bottles you get 20 pence.
Yeah.
Put him in away on your little bicycle. I'd be away all day. We'd just cycle until, we got somewhere half a day, and we'd be out. And I'm talking 8, 9, 10-year-old. My parents wouldn't see me all day. And I'm literally cycling up highways. I'm not call highways, main roads.
Right? Yeah. Busy enough.
Me and my mates just cycling up the hills, climbing up the hills with our bikes, just having our peanut butter sandwiches, cycling back, As long as your parents, it was like, as long as you're back before the lights are on, all good.
But no phones, no mobiles, no nothing. So if something happens...
Oh, who knows? We've not even got our name written on our underwear or anything, mate. There's nothing.
It is crazy, hey. Even when I was a kid, that's not that long ago. Yeah, it's okay. No, it's a little while ago. I'll be honest. Let's come to terms with that now. Same thing. Like
the beard kind of gives it away.
Yeah, I'm trying to grow it out for winter.
Just left school.
I've got nothing else going on up here, so I better just drop it down. But same thing. We used to go riding for ages and ages. Yeah. Like probably not up like highways or main roads, but yeah.
Why is it different?
I don't know. I think it's different, and I've had this discussion with Denny, I think, as well. I think it's different because now everybody has a phone.
Yeah.
I think phones have really changed everything. So because we've now grown up with a phone, we don't feel like most people they feel naked without a phone. So they don't feel safe knowing that somebody's just a button push away. And therefore, if you don't have a phone now, it means everything's unsafe. Which in reality is false, but it's a hard call now, because I think when people say, "Oh, but the world's so much worse," I don't know.
I don't know for sure. I mean, you could argue, right, from a biblical perspective, that's true. It will continue It will continue being worse. It will get worse, and it will be like the last days will be, But I think, this connectivity, phones, Facebook, media, just the way that we're apparently meant to feel more connected makes us far more distant than we've ever been before, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But I think it portrays all this bad news. You don't turn the news on for good news, do you? You barely really get the little fluffy cats being saved out of the tree kind of story anymore.
No, not a chance.
It's rape, murder, this and that, just horrific.
Or like coronavirus.
Well, I said to Sarah, I'm not going to get on a coronavirus tonight, right? But, maybe just a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
But it's this fear mongering, right? And this reaction to stuff.
Yeah. No, I 100%
that's really
agree.
Quite disturbing. It shouldn't be a surprise. The Bible says it's going to get worse, man. Believers are going to fall away following the wrong people, so I take it with a pinch of salt, do I know what these viruses, these things are going to do? No, I'm not going to make a comment with you, Richard. I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I'll leave that to the professionals, even though sometimes I don't fully trust them.
Yeah.
I don't trust the media fully. I don't trust pharmaceutical companies fully. I don't, there's agendas in this stuff. I don't know what's it all about.
Yeah.
All I need to know is I'm kind of enjoying the random toilet roll stories, right? I'm concerned for some people, obviously travel plans, wedding plans, all this horrific stuff that's changing people's lives, right? I've meant to go to Scotland later in the year. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but in the end of it, I'm just like, you know what? Just get on with your life, mate, Wash your hands, just do normal things.
Yeah.
I've got a normal amount of toilet paper in my
That's
cupboard.
Good. So do we, yeah.
And you know what? In the end, man, if it comes, my door frames are covered in the blood, mate, There's nothing that's going to worry me.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? I think I think it comes back to that balancing that we talked about before. Like, I think it's important to be a little bit informed. Like, it's important to not be naive, but if you're just sitting there, especially on some of these, like, we don't really have it in Australia as much, but these 24-hour news. Like, if you're sitting there just watching CNN in America right now, you're just terrified.
Yeah.
Because,
I don't want my kids watching news.
No, neither do I.
Like, it's just frightening for them. Like, and I heard them ask this for the first night, what's that coronavirus?
Yeah, it's hard to explain it as well.
So anyway,
yeah,
that's probably as much as I want to talk about the coronavirus.
Me too. It's one of those. I'll go.
A few funny things on Facebook about, obviously like the beer and stuff. They're really affected by this. I'm just like, people are like, oh man, I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's sheep fear mentality.
Yeah, people go crazy,
and they don't have a shepherd.
To
follow and trust. That's the worry about it. But,
like, I saw this thing, and this is my last little bit about it. It was a couple. It was a video of a couple in, I think they're in Carindale or something, and they had 2 trolleys like stacked with toilet paper.
Yeah,
like just think about what are you doing? Well, maybe they were. I don't know. Maybe they were doing something else. Who knows? Maybe it wasn't to do with coronavirus at all.
They had like
but it was just
an Egyptian kind of reenactment kind of group or something.
Or they're just like toilet papering someone's house or something. It's just unfortunate.
No, I mean, it's fair to say, I think we knew. It's just this panic. They're like, stock up, you might get quarantined. So, and it's like, well, why do you, you've probably got enough toilet paper to last about 5 years here. Like,
exactly.
How much, I don't think it is a kind of lactative.
But also, you've got a trolley full of toilet paper. Maybe you'll need some food if you're worried about that toilet paper. You're going to run out of food before you run out of toilet paper. But anyway.
Well, you're not going to need the toilet paper if you're not in it yet.
That's what I don't get. Like, how much food do these people have? But anyway, so you're back. We'll flash back a bit. You're back in Scotland again. Did you have siblings?
Yeah, I got two older brothers, mum and dad. And my mum and dad are still together. So 2 older brothers. There was a little bit of a gap. I think it's about 6 years or something in between.
Okay.
5 years maybe.
And they still all live over.
They're both. They're not. None of them are in Scotland. My direct family. I've got other family in Scotland and stuff, but they're down in England at the minute. Which I could share a little bit about in a minute. But I just thinking back in as well, like this kind of free and easy childhood. It was really good memories. And I went back to this place, the Ladybank, and had a walk around. There was some awesome memories there. There was nothing bad.
Yeah.
No real bad memories of that place
awesome.
at all, which was fantastic.
That's very
lucky. And, cycling around up the woods, making gang huts. Like, I remember probably like 10, 11 years old, right? And I always used to hang out with older people.
Yeah.
So I had a mate who was in the TA, like it was army cadet type thing.
Oh, yeah.
So he was, so he had air rifles and all sorts of stuff. And I had a couple other mates that were just like want to be G.I. Joe guys, like serious kind of knives. So like 10, 11-year-old, like nunchucks and all sorts. And we'd be up the woods, right, in the forest. Like literally been digging holes, right? Spikes, right? Tiger spikes. Like, and covering it all in that.
That's
like snares, proper like, you seen the movie Predator?
Yeah.
These tree trunks. Because our older brothers, they were doing all the lifting and stuff. We had what we call death slides with flying foxes. So we just climbed the tallest oak tree with this like full steel grade stuff and tie it to the bottom, and we'd just be sliding off it and stuff. But I didn't even think, man, we'd leave that like that.
Yeah.
And this is a thoroughfare of old people walking dogs and stuff. And
what happened?
I was just waiting on the news reports, like 94-year-old with a Scots Terrier, like impaled on a tiger trap. And I'm like, but that was awesome.
Yeah,
I absolutely loved that. Up the woods, air rifles, running around the railway track, shooting pigeons and stuff, man.
Yeah.
10, 12 years, you just wouldn't do that nowadays.
It's amazing that you're still here. Like, he made it.
And running around rail tracks and stuff, it's just,
Yeah, it's crazy.
But, really good childhood, to be fair. It was interesting, I can move through timelines and we can talk about other things and what have you want. But
It's fine.
I think primary was good. You know, for me, I was walking in the shadow of my brothers a little bit.
Okay.
So all through primary school, and I'm talking, 10, 11 years old, we leave primary. It's different here. You don't go to prep or anything like that, kindergarten. It was just straight into primary 1 when you're 5. And then primary 1 to 7.
Yep.
That's primary school. And then you go to a senior secondary school somewhere.
Yeah.
It's at Bill Baxter. So Ladybank Primary. So all through primary, I'd never get hassled. I was considered the tough guy.
Is that because why is that? Just
because of my brothers' reputations, they were bigger, they were tougher.
Yeah.
You don't mess with the Raffels and stuff. Oh, that's Danny Raffell. So I was just called Danny growing up. I'm like, Danny, how you doing? Danny boy.
Like Grease.
And so into primary 6, primary 7, I was, I got labelled the hardest guy in the school, and I'm like, I very rarely get in any fights. I don't, so I actually started to kind of like,
take on that persona.
My Raffell brothers, and so I was,
kind of validated.
It's just, I don't know. Maybe it felt the insecurities that I had. Maybe it just felt like, there was some respect there and stuff. I've been in the odd punch up and stuff over the years and that, but nothing majorly serious. I'd always get in little spats and fights with friends and just punch ups here and there, But
I feel like a lot of people at that age, you're still trying to figure yourself out, aren't you? Yeah.
Absolutely. But high school was very different.
Okay.
So from a, 30 pupil, 40, maybe 40, 50 pupils to like multiple years of schools and bigger guys and stuff, and I was like, I'm not.
And you're now the little.
I'm a wee guy. I'm not a big guy. I never was. I bulked out a little bit, maybe more on the Mars bar in the last few years. But then I just kind of was like, whoa, I can't continue that.
Yeah.
Mindset because I'd get battered. You know what I mean?
Smashed.
So I never got into any serious fight in high school. One wee punch up, it was over very quickly. But I'd always be around older folks. As I said, I'd always been hanging around older folks. I had friends my years, but I was always hanging out.
Why do you think that was?
Times.
Like,
I don't know, mate. Because it wasn't as if I was trying to be older. I was always into kicking a soccer ball around, doing kid stuff, just playing with remote control cars, playing with toys all through primary. It wasn't as if I was trying to be something I wasn't.
Yeah.
But maybe when you get to that 12, 13-year-old, you're trying to figure out who you are as a man, And it's interesting because through those high school years, like I did pretty well. Like all through primary, I was kind of in the top
of
section
grades.
of the grades and stuff,
okay.
and all the reports were he'd do great if he applied himself and just concentrated, or So that was the same, and it just kind of went further in high school because I was always in what they call credit. There was like foundation general credit, right?
Okay,
so I was always in credit everything.
Yeah.
But I never really did very well with it.
Yeah,
because by the age of 12, 13, the old testosterone kicks in, Richard, and
I know about that.
The physics class doesn't seem as appealing as the hot chick next to you. And my focus just went.
Yeah,
I
know that.
So that a lot of my high school was just sitting, trying to chat up girls and stuff, and then at lunchtime. This sounds bad. Okay. Oh, it's not going to get as bad as what I might tell you later on, right? I'd take my pocket money, right, and or my lunch money, and I'd buy a pack of cigarettes in the morning, like 13-year-old or whatever, and sell them. So buy a pack of cigarettes for like £1.50, right, £1.20, and sell them for 50 pence each. I'd make a total killing.
You're an entrepreneur.
Yeah. I wish I could.
That's like your lemonade stalls.
Continue. Yeah, it doesn't happen anymore.
Some people have lemonade stalls. You just sell cigarettes.
I might start a toilet roll now or something. I've got free 48 boxes in my garage. Well before this virus came up, we just bought in bulk. And I thought,
you're ready then.
Maybe that's where ready for the zombies, or to make that'll be the next Trump.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
No.
I said I'm not getting into politics either, so let's move on. Yeah.
Don't go down that bandwagon or that rabbit hole or whatever we call it.
But like high school, it was all right. It was starting to decline interest in that stuff. You know, I was still kind of hanging around there, but when that kind of 13, 14-year-old hit and the testosterone hit and figuring out who you are as a boy, you know, or a man with your one little wisp,
bum fluff kind of thing. Yeah,
you grow it and just like put it over your lip, make it look, you know.
Who do you think you're?
I don't think I even got facial hair till like my 20s or something.
At that time,
I went grey very quickly.
At that time when you were, I guess, in this now, say 13, 14, 15, trying to figure out yourself as a man, who do you think kind of who were you looking to in that stage? Like, who were your influences, do you think?
Definitely my brothers.
Yeah.
Now, that wasn't an intentional thing. It wasn't a conscious thing. And the reason being, and I've shared stories and testimonies with my dad as well. As I say, honestly, my parents, I wanted for nothing. You know, I had a good childhood. I'm really fortunate. There's so many people out there hurting, you know, from broken marriages and all sorts of horrific stuff that's happened to them. I grew up in a good family, and my dad, his work ethic is second to none, you know.
Yeah.
But he was a welding fabricator. He was working night shifts, all the time, a lot of the time. So during the week, he was sleeping, or I'd see him at night when I'd be watching my cartoons. And I'd see you later. He's away at work. So the weekends and stuff, I might see him now and again. We might do some stuff, or I remember him taking me to soccer games or taking me to stock cars, you know, normal kind of stuff and that. But he was busy. He had his own things he liked doing as well, building kit cars. He'd build his gardens and doing all these. He's always really handy doing stuff around the house. He can pretty much do everything. Like, he's kind of one of those things where, like, he doesn't go, I need to go and buy that. He's like, can I make it? You know, those types of things.
That's what my dad
does. I wish I'd tapped into that more. It took me many years to be a bit more handier when I went into a trade after school and stuff. So with my dad not being as around as much because he was working so hard to provide for us, and he did so well doing that, my brothers were there, you know. One particularly, you know, my middle brother, and I kind of got on with them all, but then I started to not really spend as much time with them because they were doing their own things, and I was the young guy.
Yeah,
you know?
you just get on.
Yeah, I was playing soccer, what have you. It was just but one of my brothers, when he got a bit older, so I'm talking about when I'm about 13, 14, and he's probably 18, 19, 20, you know, that kind of age, that became much more attractive for me, you know, towards the end of high school, because I was seeing him running around in these flash cars, well, probably a Ford Escort XR2 or something. I mean, you look at it now, it's
mate, that's flash.
A Cortina, you know. You know, but it was like, and the girls and all this kind of stuff, and you started hearing stories, you know, and this is where this kind of reputation came from, you know, and this kind of hard man image that he had, and he was, you know, really filtered down to me. And then, because at school I started getting into music as well, and I don't mean music as we do today with guitars and all that like that, probably involved with church at the moment, but literally DJing, you know, rave music. So, you know, I'm talking 78, so I'm talking to the 14, 15, I'm talking early 90s, you know. The rave culture was quite big in Scotland. So I was into music, into rave music, so I just just mind numbing.
And then there's
like,
a big drop.
Yeah. And then, so I just started getting into that, and we started going out to parties or, you know, raves and stuff, you know, so under 18s raves at that point. And I was like 14-year-olds, and I was hiring buses and stuff and paying. So the entrepreneurial was even then.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened, mate.
No.
I just kind of tailored off. And
Well,
I'm
maybe
like,
there's something will
my
happen.
focus has gone somewhere else, and I realised money's not everything, you know,
Yeah.
and there are riches in heaven.
But you might be still using that entrepreneurial spirit we might find out later,
Possibly.
in something else.
Possibly. So, you know, it was in the music, the raves. I started DJing, you know, this kind of rave music, it's just mind-numbing stuff. I actually sat and listened to it sometime on radio with these. I was just pure reminiscing on these nights, man. And So look, with that comes certain, I guess, curricular activities.
Yep.
We would say, these 150 RPM beats per minute music needs to kind of be fueled somehow.
Yeah.
So it was, quite common to come across amphetamines, LSD, ecstasy, and this was kind of become the thing. So towards the end of school, I was like, I need some money, man, And what happened was my dad lost his job, and there was quite a few hundred welders at the time looking for work, and he kind of just thought, I've got to make sure, I'm going to be okay. So eventually they made the decision to move down to Somerset, where he's originally from, and my mum stayed up in Scotland for a while selling the house till he got jobs and stuff like that. But by that time, I was so much more immersed in that life. So I remember, just coming home in all sorts of shapes and sizes, like taking all sorts. Like every weekend would be like, let's get school out of the way. And I had milk rounds and stuff just to get little bits of money. But as soon as 15, I could leave when I was 15 at school. By a few weeks, I had just turned 16. So technically left school when I was 15.
Yeah.
I think in May or something. My birthday was in June or March or something. I was like, I've got to get a job. So at that point, my mum and dad were going to move down. They said, look, you can come with us. The two older brothers are going to fend for themselves up here. And I said, there's no way I'm going with you, man. There's no way. I said, because at that point I probably was quite detached, or I detached myself from them a little bit because I was in a different lifestyle, and I was probably wanting to hide that from them.
Yeah.
So I said, nah, man, I'm leaving school. I'm getting a job, So I got a job. I've had many random jobs. My first ever job was working on an egg farm.
Yeah.
It was stinking, man. But it was money. So I was like, right, money, Friday, Saturday night, all night raves.
Just blow it.
All night raves, just going for it, man.
Yeah.
Like mental, just popping pills.
And what
constantly.
was it that was attracting you to that? Do you think, was it you're saying you started off by getting into the music, and then you went on to these sort of under 18 raves, and then obviously you get into some extracurricular activities, taking drugs, this sort of thing. What's keeping you coming back each time, do you reckon?
It's a culture. It's a culture and identity that was created, for us, and it was exciting.
Yeah.
It got worse, as time went on, but no, I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to pretend that taking drugs was good. It gave you such a buzz, man, and just such a euphoric, just, oh man, this is like this utopic kind of place, and because I was in that space trying to find myself in life, looking for something, that sort of drew me to it, and that appeal, and my brothers were involved in it. And then as the time went on, my brother got involved in even more stuff. There was armed robberies and all sorts of stuff going on, right? Yeah. And some gangs and just stuff that was getting filtered back. I'm like, man, this is exciting,
Yeah.
This is exciting. I remember I was probably still, this is where I'm still teetering on the childhood thing. Maybe 14, 15-year-old, I might have had some toy guns, like what you might call Nerf guns or something now, in my house. And I remember the police coming and raiding the house, my parents' house, taking all my toy guns away.
Yeah, right.
Because of my brother, and I was like, but that didn't scare me. I was exciting.
Yeah. And you were looking up to your brothers.
I was still looking up to him. That was the role model that I was going for, as I say, subconsciously.
Yeah.
My dad, it was not as much at that stage because he might have been away down south and stuff. So ultimately, that was it. Living for the weekend, partying out, just getting absolutely smashed out your face, sorting yourself out on a Sunday, go back to work on Monday, do the same again, repeat.
Because I guess it's hard to. Once you are in that state, you're with that culture of people, you're taking those drugs and making you feel so good. It's hard to not do that on the weekend and go and do something else and feel as good.
Yeah, once you're on that kind of conveyor belt, you probably need something to snap you out of that. And I honestly don't think my dad knew much about it. I mean, he knew a little bit about my brothers. my mum a little bit, because she was kind of in and around, you know, what we were kind of doing, and she was trying to kind of be there. But, you know, to be honest, we didn't allow her to be that parent.
Yeah.
You know, we were three of us were probably too strong at that point in regards to, you know, you don't get to tell me what to do, man, you know. So sit down, smoke a joint right in front of you, you know what I mean? Or even a few puff snaps. She's it was just like this. Anyway, so they eventually moved away, and my dad set us up in a flat. And I guess he thought, you know, if I set my boys up in a flat and they'll look at each other and stuff, and he said himself, maybe I was a bit naive at the time, but he just didn't know the half of it, you know. And when we moved into that house, man, that was the next chapter.
Yeah, okay.
That started getting worse.
Because you had your own space now.
We had our own space. We had no rules.
Yeah.
And we were living in this flat. It was a not bad flat, like a 3-story kind of flat. It was all right, you know. It was nothing to write home.
And how old are you at this time?
I was 16.
Still 16.
So I was in my own flat. I was 16 years old with my 2 older brothers. And to be honest, I'd started an apprenticeship, so I was a landscape gardener by trade through that. So I've always managed to kind of keep working through it all. And in some ways, I was probably had a bit more responsibility in my heart than my brothers did. So I was always kind of working. I was trying to pay the bills, you know, and still get wasted and just get carried on. And then it just kind of got sucked out of me a little bit. And I still continued doing my apprenticeship, but at the age of 16, the DJ and the raves were over. Because what happens on Sundays is you need to take downers, like, you know, Valium, all sorts of stuff to bring you down so that you can go to work.
Is that how? So I'm a bit naive when it comes to those sort of drugs, but so they'll
come on, Richard, you can tell us all about your drug use and about this.
Yeah, not Phil's, but
I had 3 ibuprofen once.
Oh wow! I had 2 before you came.
So did I. I'm gonna bust it up back.
You just stay up on them. How long if you need to take?
It all depends how much you take, you know. But we would be going out to all night raves, so I'd be having 3-4 ecstasies. I mean, you hear stories, one just kills people like that. So we were 3 or 4 ecstasies, amphetamines, acid, you know, whatever we had, we'd just take it. We didn't care.
Yeah, right.
If I had the money, I'd just be popping them all night.
Yeah.
And just being a mess.
Yeah.
So, you know, Sunday comes, you come home from the night out, whatever, Friday, Saturday, whatever, you know, the rave will finish at 6, 7 in the morning, so you're dragging yourself home. You might get to sleep, but if not, you're going to have to pop a handful of...
Because you're just so amped. That's just the feeling.
It's a stimulant, man. Your nervous system's like...
Yeah, right.
So, you know, you pop pills just to go back to sleep that day and try and sort yourself out, get back to work on Monday, you know, and just repeat again, you know. But what happened when I moved into this flat, the raving, and I started to sold my decks, my music and everything, and a lot more other ways, I guess, of engaging in that drug world came about, you know. So, like, anything that I say, I'm not proud of, but I'm not ashamed about it. Okay, because of the end result, and I guess what God's done in my life. Yeah, you know. So, but it was a pretty scary moment. I was 16-year-old in a flat. You know, there was drug dealing going around all the sorts of place. You know, quite often you just be sitting watching TV or something, whatever. Ring at the doorbell. Your first instinct is like it's the cops or someone, and you're picking up flipping knives or bats or something at the door ready to go. Like, and it's like I'm 16-year-old. Not that, as I said, I'm not a hard man, so I'm involved in that and trying to be all kind of like,
you're trying to become that. Yeah.
My brothers are there and they've got old friends, you know, knuckle dusters and all sorts, and I'm like, so I'm excited, but I'm bricking it, man.
Yeah,
I'm crapping myself at the time. I'm scared. I'm a little boy, 16-year-old, you know. So, you know, I was still kind of excited. I was still into it, you know, and I was still there and getting involved in it all and that. But I was honestly never a violent person myself. I didn't like it, even though it excited me. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes. I know.
Like I'm a big boxing fan, and I even watch some UFC and stuff. I don't like people getting hurt, but I like watching it for some reason. I like that combat.
Do you think that the reason it excited you is because you weren't a violent person? So in a way, like, do you think because you weren't necessarily like that, you're in this you're in this environment now,
Possibly.
and that's kind of
Maybe I was just living a movie. I was just watching this movie unfold. You know, I didn't know about it. You know, like I don't know if it would have got as excitement if I started getting stabbed and all sorts of stuff. Like I think it might have went a little bit pear shaped.
yeah.
Because I find the stabbing is a little bit of an inconvenience. You know, like
I imagine
bit of a dampener on your day.
Yeah,
you know. But and I remember drug busts in my house and stuff. And we got busted up at a friend's house. And there was something in me, this instinct, because we got busted in our house. We had nothing that day. And then a week later, I went up to my friend's house and we were all sitting down. We were just having a few joints. There was nothing major. And I said, look, mate, have you got anything in the house? Because I've just got this feeling, man, I don't like it. Like, this is Thursday. It's about the same time we got busted. You got anything? Nah, no, nothing in the house. I was like, cool. Sit smoking a joint, a couple of joints, and now you can just swallow it, whatever.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. You know, he stands up with a baseball bat at the door, getting kicked in. Obviously, the drug squad comes flying in. He's ready to, you know, smack them out with a baseball bat. He's like, put the bat down. I'm like, what? And obviously, we all got arrested, gets taken up to the cells. And lo and behold, he's got a stash full under his stairs of thousands of pounds worth of drugs, replica guns and all sorts. Oh, wow.
And now you're involved in that.
So we're all in the cells, you know. It was my longest period of at the privilege of Her Majesty's. It was a 4-night stretch in the local police cell because they were trying to figure out. And, you know, I'm not a grass mate. I'm not telling you nothing, you know. I was just up hanging out. I was here with my brother, you know. He was here. I was just with my brother. I'm only 17, 16. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do I know?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't grass anyone, even though I know it was that. You just don't do that. You
Nah.
know, you'd end up snitches get stitches.
Yeah.
But eventually there was a guy that was there that did stitch him up, and we got let out. And I remember going back to court for a week for this court case, and he ended up getting 7 years. And I had to point him out. Did you know who he is? Yeah, he's over there. You know, did you know he had? No, I didn't know him. You know, didn't know he had drugs. Just, you know. Anyway.
Crazy. That's crazy for a 16-year-old, though, isn't it? Like,
I just don't know. It was just the way it was, you know, like.
Yeah, just all you knew.
There was part of me that was scared of it, but part of me it wasn't. Part of me was just like, this is what life is all about, you know, so let's just do it, and I'll try and stay out of trouble, and I had my wits about me, I guess, and I've been fortunate. And so what happened after a year or two, we moved out of that house and we went separate ways and stuff, but then at about 17 years old, heroin came on the scene. You know, we're talking, mid-90s, so that's 95, I was 17, right? 94, 95. So, you know, by that time, and I don't mind sharing it, we were injecting drugs, you know, amphetamines, whatever. It just evolved into that. It was just part of it. And heroin came more and more on the scene. Started smoking it, you know, it was fine. Someone told me you can get methadone off of the doctor. I was like, sweet. So I went to the doctor, completely hammed it up, said, I've got a heroin addiction. I'm just mad with it, man. You know, I've got a job, I've got my apprenticeship I'm trying to hold down. All right, fine. Signs me a meth script. I'm like, yes.
And now you've got another drug.
So I've got heroin here. So I'll never ever need to want for anything. And, you know, we'd be selling whatever we need to sell on drugs or whatever, you just continue functioning. But that was the worst decision of my life, mate. That got grips of me. And so I was ended up on heroin and methadone. I'd be on and off for about 17 to about 22 or something like that.
Yeah, right.
2002, so 24.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. And honestly, some of those times, they're okay memories. They're like, you know, still enjoying a lot of it. You know?
Like it's still doing, it's still having an effect.
Yeah, you know, we're watching Train Spotting and stuff, and we're like, you know, and that was just the culture we're in.
Yeah.
But you know, there was always something that was kind of like, oh, man, is this it?
Yeah.
Is this?
Because once that high comes.
Yeah, I mean, I remember these appointments with my guidance counsellor at school, and I can't remember this being on the agenda. You know, I was trying to work, man. I was trying to keep down a job, and I had to be honest with my boss one day, and I said, mate, look, I really enjoy this job, you know, and I was fairly fit and healthy in the landscaping, you know, you get fit and healthy.
Yeah.
And then I was just wasted weekends, and he started noticing days off, just me not functioning right. Just like, what the heck are you doing, man? You know, bump crashing the car and stuff like that. Just, and I ended up doing drug runs and stuff in the works van, you know.
Yeah, right.
So the DA, man, they've got my employment number plus splattered all over this van, man. I'm like, so thankfully nothing ever got back to him, man. But I came clean and I said, mate, I'm struggling, like, and this is what's going on. And
that's good that you.
I remember to that day though, because he was such a good guy, man. He was a young guy. He was only about 32 at the time. He had his own business, and he was into drinking. Like, he was drinking, womanizing kind of guy, you know. But I was like, hey, it's awesome. He's cool, you know.
Yeah.
Nice Mondeo, fast cars and stuff. And I was like, you know, businessman, small businessman. But I was straight up with him, and he honestly just astounding, because you know many employers would just send you packing, eh? And he said, look, mate, I'll let you go away whenever I can during the day to the chemist to get your methadone and, you know, like, to help you out and stuff. And so
what is, sorry to interrupt, but what is the methadone? Does that kind of go hand in hand with, this is like,
well, it's an alternative opiate prescribed medication to, now people might have varied views on this, right?
Yeah.
You talk to most people in the drug and alcohol world, you know, or people that are using drugs, methadone's a killer as well, man. It's hard, it's horrible, it's hard to get off, really tough to get off. Probably worse to get off than heroin, to be honest.
Yeah, right.
But it was brought in to be an opiate substitute to help people maintain, so they didn't go out robbing and doing all this kind of stuff and just injecting and all that stuff.
Because the problem is, you if you're just purely on heroin, you need heroin.
Well, when that comes off, man, you're do anything.
You got to go and
something,
get it.
You know, you'd sell whatever you have, you'd spend, you'd rob, you'd steal, you'd do whatever you need to do. So, you know, I guess it was a way that doctors were trying to do the right thing. But the problem is, they would never have support with it. They'd just give me methadone and nothing else. And I'd have a one appointment every 4 months or something with a drugs wanker and drugs counsellor, and I'd just tell them exactly what they wanted to hear, just so they'd make sure I keep my script, right? So they wouldn't take me off it.
Yeah.
So, you know, there was no real help there. So it got pretty dark, man. You know, like, I'm not proud of it, but I'd be selling drugs, I'd be selling stuff, I'd be stealing stuff out of shops, I'd be out, you know, robbing garages and things like that. You know, at night, taking chainsaws from people's houses and stuff, selling them to my boss and stuff. You know they were stolen. I'd turn up with a chainsaw, still saw it, yeah, 40
Oh, you sell them to your boss?
Yeah, sell them to my boss. And, you know, he didn't ask what I spend the money on, and I'd go and score, you know, like.
Yeah.
So that was a real struggle, and at times through those years, I was always trying to get myself kind of sorted again, to get myself off it a little bit, you know. So I'm talking in my early 20s is when I realised, I've got to kind of, you know, I've got to put my head in a bit, you know. So there was always part of me that was trying to get off the methadone, you know, just reduce, but still using a bit of heroin here and there. Eventually, quite a number of times I got off it. And that's not off all the other stuff. I would take anything else.
Yeah.
But for some reason, heroin and methadone were the dirty, evil drug, you know. So I was still smoking pot, I was still taking handfuls of Valium, I was still taking anything there that come my way, right?
Yeah.
Just to stop me getting off the heroin. And that was okay. I was okay with that.
But did those, so I'm asking a lot of questions, but like, so all those other drugs, are they cheaper to buy or something? And that's why that cycle of...
Probably to an extent, yeah. You know, because
easier to come by.
Heroin, crack cocaine and stuff, which was around and which we were using as well, it's expensive, you know. So drinking, pretty cheap. You know, bottle of Buckfast, which is the kind of tonic wine that the Benedictine monks down in the south of England make, which is just like medicine. Like, a couple of bottles of that, you'd be good to go. Valium, you know, be a pound a piece, so you know, for $20-30 you'd have a good night, mate. You know, you'd just be out of it. And honestly, I've complete blackouts.
Yeah, right.
Like, I remember going back to about 15-year-old. My mate says that I took some Valium and I went back to my mum's, you know, at the house at that time. I was literally like trousers round the ankles, shirt ripped off me, like trying to stop like big buses and stuff, just like, I
Like
had absolutely no memory of any of this. Like, my mates leaned me up against the door, bing bong, right? And I just said, I've been drinking, Mum, I've been drinking, I'm sorry, I've been drinking. And she put me to bed, and my brothers woke up and went, what the heck have you been, what have you been doing?
Yeah.
I was like, Anyway, yeah, like I talk about it whimsical because
It's your story.
I'm not.
No.
But ultimately, I'm talking in my early 20s. My parents became Christians. We didn't grow up in a Christian family at all, right?
Okay.
Good, solid morals, though, normal, good, rounded morals, But they became Christians when I was about 12 or 13, and they went to this church. My dad became a Christian first, and my mum, I think. And they might talk about God and what have you, And when I went to visit them down in England and stuff, when all I showed my dad is that I had a job, I had somewhere to stay, and I never asked him for money. So he thought,
all is well.
I'm all right,
Yeah.
And maybe the two brothers was struggling more, and he knew that, so he just like my last son is doing okay, And I had that from him for so many years. They didn't know anything about all that stuff. But they'd go down and they talk about God, and I was kind of on the bus back or something. I'm like, oh right, God, right? If you're real, right? Make like the 10th lamppost be off. All the rest of them are on, but just the 10th one, the light will be off. Go for it. 1, 2, 3, 9, 10. Nah. Well, you're not real then. Shut up. No, forget about it. All I thought about was socks and sandals, rainbow coloured, the guitar straps, tambourines.
As in this is what...
That's what Christian is. And I thought, you know what, man, 60-year-old or something, start to have those conversations.
Yeah. I got
live my life a bit irrelevant to me now. I kind of believe something, but whatever.
Yeah.
Live my life. This is what I'm dealing with right now. And I didn't really give it much thought for a few years towards the end there of the kind of drug life. And but what happened? My brothers moved away down in England to try and make a go of it again, and they didn't quite work out, and they struggled and what have you. But they actually stayed down there. They never came back.
Yeah.
I was left up here on my own, living that life. I left my landscaping apprenticeship after I was time served, and I started supervising and stuff, but I just left it because there was just no money in it, and I needed money. So that was when the mid-90s, IT, yeah man, that's what we're talking about, IT. So I went to an IT course, dropped out after 3 months. By that time, I was scamming my credit cards and all sorts of stuff, like getting thousands and thousands of dollars, selling it for drugs.
Yeah, right.
On the run from all sorts of stuff. Now, at that time, and it wasn't until I got past all of this stuff that I read my police record, because I started applying for jobs later on, and I need police checks. And they had intelligence reports on me for quite a few years for me doing all sorts of drugs, dealing and all sorts of stuff, but never ever got charged or arrested for anything. And part of me was like, I'm too clever for these guys, man. No, I just think
you had quite an ego going on.
Something beyond that was obviously protecting me, So it got to the point where I went on the run from just it all, and I went down to England and got off the drugs.
Yeah, wow.
Off the methadone and everything. I was working again. I had my own flat.
Just got off and by yourself?
I slowly reduced. It was quite hard. Really hard. I was slowly reduced to the point where I was just taking tiny little mills, but there was some of it I just still needed that.
Yeah.
Still smoking pot and all that stuff. I'd still take other things.
Yeah.
Again, that's not a problem, right?
Yeah.
I thought. But my brothers were down there and they were just still running around, so I just kind of easily fell back into that again,
in that environment again.
And I was pretty lonely down there. It was just me and my brothers. Didn't have many friends. I was down there for about a year.
Whereabouts in England?
In Somerset, mate, down in country way.
Whereabouts is that?
Kind of like the opposite to London, down the west coast, Cornwall and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Really sleepy, tiny village, nothing happening whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right. So the drugs started creeping in again. I thought, man, I've got to get away from this again. So got bad on it again. Managed to get myself off, on and off it for the year. I realised I need to go back up to Scotland and get away from this again. So went back up again, started looking for work. I was training as a croupier at a casino.
Oh yeah.
At one point.
What's a croupier?
Croupier's, you know, the guy that does the roulette?
Yeah, that guy.
I mean, Richard,
You'd be a good croupier.
my head is mush at this time, right? I'm taking Valium, I'm taking lots of stuff just to function, right? To stay away from the heroin, right? And I'm doing multiple interviews and getting through them, right? And doing maths tests and everything, this calculation, because you gotta do all the winner.
Yeah, it's a bit in it.
And count all, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm managing this, because maths wasn't always my strong point, right? But I'm functioning, I'm just getting through it. And I was just about to sit my test, and the guy was like, you'll do that. And I said, mate, honestly, something within me, just this life, just this, it's just, I don't think I can do it, you know? And that's probably when I started really questioning, like, what am I going to do with this? Something needs to happen here, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be in that life of the gambling culture and all that stuff, because, you know, that's what I was trying to get away from.
Yeah.
That dark kind of
You already had a few
culture.
cracks at trying to get away from that.
Yeah, you know, and I was still taking Valium. I was taking Valium just to function, buying it off, you know, selling it, whatever, just to get through these.
Because Valium's like a relaxant, isn't it?
So yeah, so the depressant, just
Depressant, that's the right word.
They give it for all sorts of stuff, but
Yeah.
so I'm like trying to do this croupier stuff, and I'm like, so I said, look, I'm gonna give it. I'm not gonna do the test. I'm gonna, you know, and I got a cleaning job just in the university at St Andrews, and my mate at that time was doing golf caddying at St Andrews, and I really quite liked golf over the years. I just had my wee hit about with mates and stuff. I said that'd be really good, you know.
Yeah.
So he got me a job at the caddying, and I did that for a few years at St Andrews, which I loved, absolutely loved it. Because I really started liking golf, and I really started liking that. But the problem is, I was earning cash in hand, doing 2 rounds a day, a big wad of cash.
Spends a hole
Jump in the
you.
car, drive down to a place called Methil, which was the hub of heroin down there,
Yeah,
and
right.
just smash it out. And then up at 4 a.m. in the morning, next day, let's go in the morning, back and back. Just end up getting like that again.
Yeah, just in the
Falling back
cycle
into it.
again.
Yeah, and so you got me on a roll now.
That's all right.
So you were talking about questions and stuff.
No. This is what I'm. This is what I like
honestly,
listening to.
mate, at that point, I was again, man. You know, and caddying was seasonal, right? So you'd smash out the money, you'd blow it all, and come October, it's cold. The golf course is shut really for
Yeah.
tourists,
It's just
and I'd be on the dole.
yeah.
Or selling drugs or doing whatever just to function, or some crappy job, chopping veg or whatever you do, right? But I'd just be surviving the winter, you know, and they were harsh.
Yeah, I bet.
Scotland winters are tough going, man.
Yeah.
Especially when you
Almost
hardly
as
any,
tough as Brisbane
hardly any
weather-
money,
winters,
you know?
Yeah.
And a few years back, I'm seeing that this is how bad it got, right? I'd be living off just cheese and toast,
Yeah,
like
wow.
constantly, or that'd be it. I'd be lucky if I got a bread and butter. Sometimes we get a bit of toast.
Wow.
Probably
Just
one
because
of my-
all your money is just going
yeah,
into
just blowing
drugs.
it.
Yeah.
Just didn't think. The first day you got money, you'd have a good party, you'd get takeouts and also just have all sorts, and then it just be
Yeah.
for the rest of a week and a half, you have nothing.
Yeah.
And I remember raiding people's fridges and their garages and stuff, trying to look for food.
Yeah.
One of my lowest points. It's quite funny actually. Though. I don't. See, I'm not ashamed of it at all. I'm just like, oh, you know what? Just stupid.
It is what it is.
Balaclavaed up, right?
Yeah.
Me and my brothers. Balaclavaed up, right? Jumping into someone's back garden with a pitchfork, digging potatoes in the garden just to get a feed, mate.
Wow, that's
I'm
full.
not
on.
talking about like just looking pure mad. Like, you know what I mean? Just some potatoes with some butter, man. Oh, awesome. Just surviving.
That's some,
I was
yeah.
a beanpole, mate. You know,
Yeah,
beanpole.
yeah,
I mean, I'm not a big guy now, but I was.
Because it
sick.
thins you out anyway, doesn't
Oh,
it?
I had
yeah.
my mum looked at a photo when I was about 20, man. I looked haunted.
Yeah.
I was skinny, white, pale. I mean, most people in Scotland are skinny and pale. This is like, I'm ethnic now. Right? You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, and it got to the point where one of the final year of my caddying, I was through the midwinter. It was really, really hard winter. Really involved in a lot of dodgy stuff, a lot of dodgy people. By that point, there was a lot of friends who had died,
Yeah, okay.
overdoses. People that got hepatitis C and stuff were really sick. I've had friends committing suicide, all sorts of stuff happening there. Scary, you know. And there's probably times when I thought about it myself. If I had enough drugs, mate, you know, I'd just be. But anyway, I remember. When was it? It was probably about April, mid-April. The carrying season was about to kick off in a few weeks' time. I had nothing. I was in my flat in Cooper and Fife, freezing, right? Talking like 2 degrees or something, right? Duvet.
Because you haven't got enough money to put the heater on.
There's no heating on, nothing. No electricity. I've got a candle, right?
Yeah.
Nothing at this time. Sometimes, most of the time I'd have stuff, but this week I had nothing. A candle, nothing in the fridge. Duvet, rattling, man. I was on drugs. I was rattling off the drugs. I was cold turkey, man. I was in a bad state. I phoned my mum and I was like, "Mum, just send me some money, man. You know, I need, you know, anything. I'm just going to the shop just to steal a chocolate bar, just for something, you know, to eat." Anyway, she sent me some money, but she was talking about God and stuff over the phone that night. I didn't really. I was like, yeah, that's nice, Mum. All right, I will. Right, just send me some money. Send me some money. Anyway. I can't even remember that night, mate. Just blanked out, cried myself to sleep, man, just in a mess. Now I'm talking, you know, we were in a mess, man. Like my arms were just ballooned up from missing injection and stuff. Just, I was on my own that night. I don't know what my mates were doing, you know, up to no good. I cried myself to sleep and I woke up and my mum had said, like, go over to there's a place called the Lighthouse across the road. A Christian bookstore. I'm like, so just go and chat to someone, see if they can help you, you know, like, I don't know what to say to you. Like, just go in there, get some help, just chat to someone, see if anyone can advise you anything, you know. The doctors were, you know, they were doing their best, but they were hopeless. They had no idea.
Yeah.
They had no idea what they were doing with dealing with.
They probably had so many people coming in.
There's nothing, you know, and there was I didn't know any services, I didn't know anything there. Anyway, we went there, met this beautiful lady called Jane, who was in her 60s, and she put us in touch with a church just up the road. It was an Alpha course. So we got the Alpha course. So I don't know. Looking back, that was the night. That was the night I had an encounter with God. I didn't even really fully know it.
Yeah.
I've not said a prayer or sinner's prayer or anything. I just woke up that day and it was just something that says, you know what, this is something in this, man. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to follow it. I don't know what it means, but something happened that night, you know.
For you actually to act on it.
Yeah, something happened, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, you know. And for everything that I thought about Christianity, everything that before, I was like, nah, you know, let's see what happens. You know, what else have I got to lose? I'm one death's door here, man. I'm just in a mess, you know. And anyway, fast track in a few months, I'm doing the Alpha course and stuff, and I'm like, this is right, man. This is true, man. I believe this. I believe God. I believe Jesus. You can set me free. You can set me free. You know, not feeling it. I'm going to church, singing, and just you can do this, God. And then I'm going home taking drugs. And my mate's like, what the heck, man? Like, you said you're going to do this, so why are you doing it, man? You know what's going on? And one of the things that stuck in my mind, I'm sitting there injecting drugs, right? And my mate said to me, yeah, what would Jesus say now, mate? You know, what would Jesus say to you now? And I was like, well, you could have just, you know. And I thought, you're right, man. And I said, one of the turning things that I read, I'm not a huge reader. I sometimes go through little spouts. One of the turning points for me was reading The Cross and the Switchblade.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, a guy called Nicky Cruz. Cross and the Switchblade is David Wilkerson's, who was a pastor's perception of the story of Nicky Cruz. Now, Nicky Cruz was a Hispanic guy that moved to New York, and he was in the Mau Mau gang, and he was one of the most notorious gang leaders in New York at that time. Yeah. And this is where Teen Challenge, you might have heard of Teen Challenge,
which is a
Christian. This is where Teen Challenge started, through David Wilkerson and Nicky Cruz, taking drug addicts and I don't use that term, but people that are experiencing drug addiction into their church, and trying to find healing. This is where this world rehab started.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, this story just really resonated with me, man. You know, maybe not to the extent of what I'm reading here, but I thought, I can relate to this. His journey with God. You could
see yourself in parts of his story.
Parts of it, you know.
Yeah.
As I said, I'm not a hard man. I'm not.
No.
Not pretending I'm the leader of the Mau Mau's in New York, right? Let's get it straight, right? I'm a young, frightened little boy that's just trying to suss this out. Man.
Yeah.
And yeah, went through the Alpha course and kind of got to the end, and I thought, well, now what? Because I'm getting torn apart here, man, in two worlds. And my friends were seeing the difference in me, and I wasn't hiding it. I was telling people I'm a Christian now. They're like, oh yeah, cool, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But they didn't see me going mental. They were just like, he seems more peaceful. Anyway, but I was still using drugs. I've got to get away from this. So anyway, a couple that were in the Alpha course who were really dear friends of mine, Jane and Brian. Brian's still alive today. He's in his 80s. He lives back in Scotland. Jane passed away a couple of years ago. I named my daughter after Eva Jane.
Oh.
But ultimately, they mentored me through the Alpha course, and they had encouraged a guy a few years ago to go to this Christian recovery centre, like a rehab in Edinburgh, and said, look, you should think about that, because I don't know how else you're going to get away from this, And I thought about it, went for the interview, went okay, came back that night. I thought, I'm just going to forget about it. I just didn't, I don't know if it's for me. I'm going to leave everything I knew to go to a strange city. It's just overwhelming, So handful of Valium, enough to knock a horse out. I'm straight. I'm like getting no effect from these whatsoever.
Yeah, wow.
Now I know they're good, Richard, because I was selling them. Right? I know they're good, but it was like, what the heck is going on here? You know what? Let's just go to the blooming prayer meeting that was on that night. I can't sleep. It was like 7, 8 o'clock. Went up to the prayer meeting. I can't remember what happened, but anyway, went back to bed that night. Woke up in the morning. Like, what the heck, man? Opened the door, my mates come in, like, what the heck happened? Well, apparently what had happened, right, about 10 minutes after I'd left to go to that prayer meeting, my mates came round to my house, which would normally happen, and they'd have drugs and random people with them, and we'd just get,
and you'd get back into it.
Fine. I probably wouldn't be strong enough at that time. Anyway, what had happened, I wasn't in. I'd disappeared 10 minutes before. They all went round to my mate's house. One of them overdosed. This guy that they'd met that night overdosed on the heroin that they'd sold them. And the police were all over the place trying to clamp down on the whole town, looking for everybody that was involved in it, so including me, and all this kind of stuff. And I was just kind of, whoa, like, isn't that crazy, man, Like, I should have been out of it. I should have been involved in that, and I was just kind of plucked out of it for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got accepted into this place, and I was thinking... Into
the rehab centre?
Yeah, and I was on the phone in my old town talking to my friends, Jane and Brian, like, I just don't know, man, I'll think about it. She said, mate, and I remember, Danny, you need to make the decision right now. This is going to be the rest of your life. This is the biggest decision you're going to make in your life. And I said, I'm going to do it. And they said, well, look, come up to our house in the farm just outside town. I gave up my flat. I just abandoned it. I took some clothes and I just abandoned it. I told my friend, who's the landlord I knew, I said, look, I'm gone. I've abandoned the flat. Sorry. I just need to leave. Left the caddying job. I had a car. I just gave it away. A little Nova. It wasn't. Someone just take it. And I went up and went cold turkey up in this farmhouse, man. That was rough. That was rough. I was in the hot bath, shivering, vomiting, just for a week solid, never slept, never ate, just in a mess. Anyway, went into the rehab. I'd always thinking I'll get myself strong enough after a few months and come back and I'll help you all out, mate, because they were still my mates. I still care about them, some of them. Yeah. Some of them. I'll come back, or I had an idea that the church I used to go to, I'll start a ministry and all, and I was 2 days into that journey at the rehab, and God just like, nah, man.
Don't go back.
Can't go back.
Yeah.
Can't go back. This is it.
Yeah.
This is where your life's going to start again. This is where you can get born again. And I got baptized about 2 months later, and that was the start of the journey, really, for me, in a different way. And it was hard. It was really hard. For the first couple of weeks, I'd actually used when I was in the rehab, and you would have got kicked out. Honestly, if I got caught, I don't know if I'd be here, man. I would have probably went back and just lost the plot.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I made that mistake, and I thought, man, it was a wake-up call. And I said, look, that was the night I said, I'm going to devote everything to you, God.
Yeah, wow.
My whole body, my being, not perfect in any means, and I didn't successfully do it all the time, but even my life, my sexual life, which was just, I'm not needing to go into that, but that was what you lived for as well. It was just one person, the next, whatever. Not caring about that stuff. Just, I never had a girlfriend, really. many partners and what have you, but anyway, I'm not,
It was just
not
part of
proud
that
of that.
lifestyle.
Yeah, it's part of that lifestyle.
Yeah.
I said to God, man, I said, look, after 9 months in that place, I said, I'm going to devote myself to you, and I'm not going to even kiss another girl until you show me my wife, right?
Yeah.
Not even, and I made that promise to him. So during this time, a couple of staff members were like, oh, you'd make a really good worker, like a counsellor and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's, I'm a landscape gardener, I could do that. I thought, but no, maybe I've got something to give.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something in all this that can be of use. You know, God can do something in this. That might actually not be a waste of time.
How long had you been in here? That
was 9 months. I was in there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then I moved into a supported accommodation flat with the same organisation for a year.
Yeah.
So it was like the next transitional house to try. And I got a job. I got I was want to get back into this work. And use this experience to benefit.
Yeah.
So I started volunteering, a soup kitchen serving food for the homeless, volunteering at a youth organisation delivering drug education to kids at school, just things like that, just to try and build my resume a bit. And I worked at I can pretty much turn my hand to anything. Like, give me a go at it. I'll either blag my way until I'll actually learn it, or I'll be able to do it pretty quickly. You show me how to do it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So I was for a year and a half. I was a gallery advisor at a picture frame. I was talking to people about artwork, and also I didn't know half the foggiest what I was talking about. I mean, colours and all sorts of stuff. It was probably psychedelic.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell
Just
you about.
sort of faking it till you make it.
Yeah. But but
incredible.
the intention was just to show this organisation that I'd left as a client that I'm okay, and a year later I'll apply, and I volunteered for them for a year, and it was like you'd have all these overseas gap years people come in to work for them for a year for free. You'd get some bursary or whatever.
Yeah.
So I did that. I stayed in a flat, met some awesome people that I'm still really dear friends with. One of them lives in Adelaide now, actually. I see regularly. Awesome.
That's amazing.
So really lifelong friends I made there. Always intent to come back to that rehab. Didn't get in straight away, and I went to work with the same organisation but in a homeless hostel. Eventually I got a job back in the residential rehab, which I was really felt like I was called to be back in.
Yeah, that would have been incredible.
So crazy to walk back in the door there and battle with that. Do these staff still see me as an ex-resident, or do they see me as a colleague now? And I really struggled with that for a few years, like my self-esteem and just am I accepted now? And, but anyway, I was there for 6 years or something. Absolutely loved it, man. Such a family atmosphere as well. The staff team are all just best friends, lifelong friends.
Such a difference.
Well, the thing is, mate, and when I made that vow and I walked away from that life, I vowed that I will not let anyone is going to backstab me intentionally, or just I'm going to put people around me that are going to build me up and edify me. And obviously, people let you down and stuff. That's fine, but everyone around I just trusted. The residents I was in there with, not so much. People stole off me, but I was forgiving, and I was.
That's part of the role, isn't
it? It was like,
yeah.
But anyway, I was there for a while, and God just continued developing that, and I'm 6 years abstinent from everything, like healed, feeling like I'm smell of perfume, man. I'm falling in love, like it's like, God, where's my wife? I've made this commitment to you. I've not kissed another girl, right, for 6 years.
How old are you now, you reckon? In your 30? Are you 30?
I was, so 2002, so that was 24. So probably 24, late at 29, something like that. Because I got married when I was 30. So 29, right? Now, you need to keep an eye on time. Tell me how long we've got in moving on, because I don't want to bore people.
Just keep going for a while. It's all good.
If
people get bored, they can turn.
Yeah,
I'll let it the last hour out. No.
I'd be kind of putting myself out there to meet people, but very quickly I would know straight away this is not the person. And one of my best mates, who was my best man at my wedding, and he says it's like you've got little business cards saying like, sorry, it's not going to work out. We're just going to be friends, and I'd be handing them to these girls, like, because I'd be meeting these people, and I'd have the conversation with them to say, what's happening here? Is this something that God's doing? Is it not? If it's not, we'll be friends or walk away on,
Yeah.
So it kind of, there's a few like that. And then, but the problem was, because I was immersed in this Bethany organisation, that's all I knew. So some people at church and stuff and that, so I thought I'm going to put myself out a little bit broader. And I went online.
Oh, yeah.
To a thing called Fusion 101 Christian Connections or something it's called. And I had a laugh with it, mate. People are on there super serious, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want to, godly women, this and that, which is cool, man, which is cool. I was just like...
But they have like a
super serious,
you gotta tick all the box.
just like...
Yeah.
And I was like, man, just ripping into just having a laugh,
Yeah.
And I thought, I like to have a joke. I like to have a laugh, man. I'm just... I take life pretty
It's your
easy, pretty
personality.
easy going,
Yeah.
right? Anyway, clicked on this girl. She was quite cute. Thought I'd say hi, and she said, "Oh yeah, I was about to delete my profile." She'd already pressed delete on it, and it takes a couple of days. But I managed to just get like the last day of when. She said, "No, look, just connect me on Facebook. I'm coming off this," because she only went on it because one of her friends wanted to look at the profiles, and so she was randomly dating weirdos, like weirdo Christian folks that were, just really off the scale.
Yeah.
Anyway, connected on Facebook, and I thought, you know what? Yeah, I'm keen to meet up and have a chat, and just see how. And I said, look, I just want to let you know my testimony. I share a bit of testimony. I thought, man, at least I want to be straight up. If I'm going to frighten people off, I don't want to be with that person,
Yeah.
So I told her, and she's like, it endears me more to you. Like, I really want to know more and stuff. I said, let's catch up. She lived in Glasgow at the time. A girl called Sarah, who is now my wife.
Yeah.
Kiwi girl who was over and overseas doing lots of traveling, and she's an attractive girl, and she was kind of living this kind of overseas life, and it's just having lots of fun. But she was coming to the end of possibly going home and stuff. Anyway, we went out for a couple of dates, and I didn't want to tell her too fast, but man, I started getting some heavy scriptures, man, really quickly, like after about our second date, I got the scripture, I think it's Isaiah 60, I think it is. Says you'll be a royal diadem in the hands of your God, and you'll no longer be called Hephzibah, but you'll be called Buelah. And I'm like, what the heck does that mean? So, your little concordance, you look it up, and it says Hephzibah means to delight in her, and Buelah or something meant to be married. 2 dates, mate. I'm like, freaking out. And I knew God was going to move fast on it because I'd made that commitment, and it was a vow. And I went, okay. Well, yeah. Anyway, a few more scriptures came up and stuff, and I started sharing them with Sarah. She's like, nah, she's gone. She was leaving New Zealand. She thought she's kind of cool, and she's enjoying hanging out with us. So she really likes me, And anyway, some scriptures came up, and we were really. I was really analytical about it all.
Yeah.
Because I gave my heart to God, but my head was just like...
Yeah, trying
she
to logic
was really
it all.
broken-hearted from different things that had gone on as well. Anyway, I read the scripture, Philippians 4. Yeah. Do not be anxious about anything, but by prayer and petition, present your requests before God. So the God of all peace that transcends all understanding will guard your hearts and your minds.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, how cool is that? Because we were like, what's going on here, man? This is fast. This is happening fast. You're leaving. This is something really...
So you're very honest with each other.
Oh, at that point, yeah. Well, she was kind of like, oh, yeah, that's nice. I'm like, but look. And then I went to devotion. I was running a devotions with the guys the next morning. It wasn't my turn, and I stepped in with someone else, opened the devotion, but
Same thing.
do not be anxious. I'm like, what? So I went to our house, and I said, I didn't say anything. I said, let's do the devotions together. And we opened the UCB that she had. You're kidding me, man. Do not be anxious about anything, but prayer and petition, guard your hearts. And I'm like, so that night we went out to this fair, this Govan fair, which is a terrible fairground thing. It was awful. Like, Govan is a really rough part where you're stepping over dog poo and needles and stuff. But we had the best time at this fair, right? It was just, I think I had some vomit on her cheek or something. I was like wiping it off. That's love for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some vomit on your cheeks. She hates fairground rice. Anyway, I started saying, like, what's going to be these scriptures, man? Like, what do you make of it? And she's like, don't like read into it. Like, I might be going home. I don't know what's going on. This is, And then later on, she's like, actually, 'cause she talked about her pa, who was her grandfather, who had passed away, and she said, one of the scriptures he did give me about my future husband was Philippians verse 4 or 5. I'm like, and now not only that, he's the reason she came to Scotland.
Yeah, right.
He never travelled up until he was 70. He was a farmer, and when he hit 70, I think, sorry sir if it's wrong, but later ages he got remarried when his wife died, and he travelled the world. Awesome, man. Just went over the world, and he said to Sarah, the one place I want you to visit is Scotland.
Wow.
How awesome is that?
Yeah.
And then so we're faced with this, and I'm like, whoa. So anyway, it got serious quick, right? I'm talking 3-4 weeks in here. Right?
Yeah, right. Wow. No mucking around.
And I thought, I'm going to share this Isaiah scripture with you. I'm taking a risk here. You're hopefully, you're probably going to be booking your flights. I don't know, you're going to stay. She's thinking, should I stay? Should I get a new locum job? And anyway, I shared this scripture, and her face just went. And she says, I've had that on my mirror for years, and I've given that to my friends who have been having relationships problems and breakups and stuff. I never thought it was really for me, and like,
wow.
I thought, man, this is just mental. And after a week later, I proposed. 59 days, Richard, I was engaged to be married. Now, I knew God was going to move, but I didn't think he was that fast. And I had a feeling it was going to be with someone foreign, because all those volunteers, it was all Americans, different people. I was thinking, maybe I'm so glad it wasn't America, mate. Anyway, 59 days, we got married, and we only started to get to know each other through engagement. It was hard. She was quite unwell. Vitamin D deficiencies in Scotland. She was quite sick. I ended up getting a Balhasia fever, dengue fever, all sorts when you're travelling, all sorts of eating random meat things and just whatever. Yeah. Thankfully, no coronavirus back then. It's probably worse, but Balhasia and dengue fever.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, we were planning a wedding in New Zealand. I wheelchaired my wife onto the plane to get married.
Wow.
And even when we were in New Zealand, we went to some naturopath guy and stuff, and he ended up being involved in the occult and stuff. So there was some spiritual warfare going on. We were on the edge of our bed in our parents' room days before the wedding, saying, we'll walk away, man. We'll walk away from this because this is just heavy, man. This is really heavy. But there was this spiritual oppression upon us through these people and these things that we've got involved in, in this guy. Anyway, we found a Christian guy who ended up getting her pretty well very quickly, naturopath guy and stuff, and got her to the wedding. Just, she was fit and healthy. She was doing great, and she was nervous. She was not wanting to move back to Scotland. She was just really quite depressed about Scotland and quite unwell. And I was like, well, we have to go back. Like, I've got my friends, my family. I need to go back and get some qualifications and stuff. Like, I can't just, But anyway, she prayed that she'd wake up that morning of the wedding with no anxiety. It was crippling for her, and she woke up. She says she just had this peace. Me, on the other hand, was absolutely myself.
Yeah.
Not because of getting married, because I had to sing a song at the wedding. I decided to sing Songbird Eva Cassidy at the wedding.
Wow.
I was absolutely terrified at making a mistake. This is a wedding, man. This is my wedding.
Yeah.
Females have dreamt the whole life, and I'm going to sing this song. Oh, man. Anyway, got through it. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful wedding. We moved back to Scotland. Hard 5 years. It was really hard. Just because of the environment. She was in a job that was really bullying. It was really tough going. It was really tough. But we'd always planned to come back to New Zealand. Yeah. And didn't end up being there. We did a round the world trip on the way to New Zealand, and we came to Australia. Random opportunities that my wife got. We were going to be here for 12 months. That was it. We ended up buying a little unit. We were going to just sell it and move away. And then, we connected into a church before Gateway that we came that really made us feel quite welcome. And we just thought, no, let's just stick it out. And I ended up getting pregnant. And then, we're on to second child, onto the third house. And now, mate, we've got Australian passport.
Yeah.
That was worse. I felt my accent. That
was a bit of a hybrid. That wasn't as good as the
first one. Was better, wasn't it? I've got to start with, "G'day, mate. How you going?" We got a passport. That was better. Sorry.
Wow. And so now you are working in smart recovery. So you're full circle in Aussie.
I've done a lot of different things over the years. AOD counselling, rehab, all that stuff. 17 years I've been working in the field now. So I've been working in the field longer than the life I lived in that field,
right.
so it's a far cry from my life now. And sometimes when I tell my wife some of the stuff, she just still doesn't get it, man. She's like, I can't relate that to what you're telling me, to who you are. Like, it's just bizarre. I don't think in some ways I've changed.
No.
The things I've done, because I still felt my heart was good, man, and I wanted good things, and I wanted a family, and I wanted that stuff. It just was robbed from me, or it felt like it was robbed from me. But through that time of ministry as well, I was ministering to myself through music and through poetry and stuff like that. It was really healing, and that's where the creative side came from me. I never sung anything.
Yeah, right.
Other than DJ stuff. I didn't think I could sing. I started learning the guitar, teaching myself. I'm not great, to be honest. I've hit a real plateau, but anyway. And I loved that creativity side of it, and that's, where I'm involved with the worship and stuff at church, and I love doing that. But yeah, Smart Recovery, sorry.
You're right.
So Smart Recovery is a worldwide model of group support for people experiencing addictive behaviours. Now, traditionally, it's AA or stuff like that people have heard of.
Yeah.
So Smart's fairly new, 1994 in America, but 2003, 2004 in Australia. So part of my job is to promote that and try and develop that with my team that I work with. So yeah, I mean, bizarre, like talking about collecting a methadone script to national program manager of Smart Recovery.
Yeah.
In the other side of the world. Like, it's bizarre. I mean, Richard, as I've said to you, my health is good. Of all the stuff I've done in my life, ODs, woken up by paramedics, bloodborne disease, all that stuff, nothing.
Yeah,
right?
That's incredible.
No criminal record.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm not smart. Well, I am smart because I work for Smart. But that's a different kind of smart. But I knew God's hand was on me there, man, like I would not be here today even if I'd got one charge.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get into the country,
out, totally.
which is quite bizarre, isn't it? Knowing the history of Australia. Because the actual criteria to get into the country was to have a criminal record.
Yeah, exactly.
So they'd be like, let them in, but no.
You can't come
So, honestly, by the grace of God and the power of Jesus, man, to be here today with you, physically alive.
Yeah, it's incredible.
But, I love Smart Recovery because it looks beyond the substance. And as I said, it wasn't the substance for me. It was a heart condition. And yeah, it was spiritual as well, but physical, a heart condition, a mindset. Now, Smart's not religious in that sense. It looks at psychology of behaviour and human behaviour, which, guess what? Kind of God invented that. Eh? I don't say that to my, colleagues because, I've got to just be mindful that we're delivering a non-religious program, but it's an amazing program because it looks beyond it, just behaviour, and it could be drugs, it could be alcohol, it could be, deep fried Mars bars or Netflix binges or smoking or coffee.
Yeah. There's so many different things, aren't there?
It doesn't matter what it is. If it's problematic or causing you to hook away from your values of how you want life to be, it's an issue. Now, I'm sure anyone that I know could benefit from doing a Smart Recovery program. I constantly am checking in with myself, doing it on a daily basis. I was going to say I had a meeting with my wife the other day. So it's so formal. I had a meeting with my wife. I had a coffee. We call it a date, right?
Yeah.
With kids, you kind of forget what they are, right?
Yeah.
I had a meeting with my wife. I had a coffee last year or something, and we're talking about planning the week. And she's like, you're doing your Smart Recovery facility? And I'm like, you know what, I am. Well, I'm not actually. Well, I am, but it just becomes part of your
using that
mindset.
Structure kind of thing.
Instead of the way I used to dysfunctionally think about things and react to things and conditioned behaviours there, I'm trying to instill positive ones. So I think anyone can benefit from that. And I can guarantee if you did some sessions at Smart Recovery, you would start to improve aspects of your life that you might not be meeting.
Well, we all
the
have
challenges and expectations you want on yourself.
We all have different things that we constantly are doing.
Well, we talked about New Year's resolutions and what have you,
Yeah.
But it's an awesome program, and I'm very, very fortunate, very privileged, and it's not easy. Like I actually think there's parts of my time in life now trying to be a parent and raising kids. It might sound weird, but actually harder than getting off heroin.
Yeah.
It really is, man. I mean, kids are refining, aren't they? They will bring out stuff in you didn't even know was there.
Yeah.
You know, like God will use that, and I'm like, wow, did I just say that and do that?
Yeah.
Far out, man. I'm like back into God's word, praying, just But we're all a work in progress, aren't we? And by no means am I anywhere near perfect or where I would like to be in life. But that's the drive and motivation I have, just to be more Christ-like as we go. And I'm not. I'm not there.
Yeah.
I'll pursue and keep fighting the fight and racing the race.
Yeah.
And people ask, would you ever go back to that life? And I said, well, I don't see it as a different life. Like, it might sound weird, and in some ways I am. Like, I was dead to my sins, and now I was born again. So yes, I get that. But I can't forget that, because it taught me so much.
Yeah, it's made you who you are.
It's still part of me. It's still part of my life. And I don't want to forget that, because it's continually helping teach me and other people to make better decisions in life. And I still have to check in and do that. I'm still making mistakes and things I want to do and improve my life on now that I'm just not doing. And I'm sure there are vices in my life that I don't want it to be there. Normal things that people go through.
Yeah, definitely.
And, but yeah, like I'm really privileged and love meeting folks at Gateway, yourself, and it's an awesome place to be, awesome place to worship and be very, very involved. Did not think I would go to a large church like that. My wife and I walked into there thinking, no way, man, no way.
Well, imagine when you were 16, if someone had given you a picture of, like, or if someone had said, oh, you'll be at a big church like Gateway.
Yeah.
Imagine what
on the stage at Christmas.
Yeah, imagine what.
Singing in a red sequins top.
Yeah. While you're at one of your...
no, hold on. Flashback here, Richard. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So Gateway Christmas carols, red sequins top.
Yeah.
I've actually worn something like that before.
Where was that?
Well, back in my DJing days.
Oh, yeah.
When we did a couple of nightclubs and raves. So I say 15 years old, I'm DJing a nightclub, right? The Dance Domination Crew, we were called.
Dance Domination.
Yeah. DJ Dominator, of course.
Yeah.
And we all went to like a Spotlight type shop.
Yeah.
Bought all these red and gold sequenced suit cloth and made them into suits and stuff. So it wasn't the first time.
No. You were a veteran.
Gateway,
a red sequin veteran.
Carols, there you go. But, look, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. If you took me back to 16-year-old, 17-year-old, in the midst of it all and said, would you imagine yourself there? You know what? Before tonight, I probably would have said no. But I actually think because there was something there that I think God had planted even at an early age, I probably did believe it, because that's what kept me fighting. That's what kept me moving forward and not giving up to all that stuff that was going on, because I knew there was something there. Not the details of it, obviously, but saying that, I'm really fortunate. The journey's just starting, man. And hopefully, God willing, coronavirus doesn't hit my family. And
I'm sure we'll be right.
Yeah, it's awesome. We walked into Gateway that week, right? Not knowing anyone. Oh, this is huge. Not going to know anyone. I don't know if I've told you. Went to the welcome lounge. Me and Sarah talking to this lovely lady, kind of blondie grey hair, and she's sitting talking to Sarah, and Yvonne is her name. You probably know Yvonne. Anyway.
Yvonne. yeah, I think I do.
Pretty much everyone in Gateway knows Yvonne. She's like the connector.
Yeah.
Anyway, sitting talking to Sarah, and she's like talking about in New Zealand. She's just like, "Are you James Jitt's daughter?" And we're like, "Yes." It's like, how the heck? Wait, what? And apparently, when Sarah's dad, who was Indian Singaporean and grew up in Hindi, Sikh or whatever, became a Christian, left and moved to New Zealand on his own, and moved in with a family with a young daughter, kind of his age, and lived with him for a few years. And this is her standing right in front of us. So not only, we didn't know her, but she knew us.
That's
even
amazing.
though she knew Sarah's dad before his mum knew her.
Yeah.
Before Sarah was born. Like, she's got more history with that family lineage than we did.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, Isn't that crazy?
That's amazing.
So we walk away like, God, man, you're sitting here. You're up there having a giggle, aren't you, man? You're loving this.
Just
aren't you?
connecting the dots.
He's like,
Yeah.
And then I went a few more weeks with the music and stuff. And I just thought, man, God just spoke into the music and all the songs that I'd been singing that week. The whole set was like, I'm like, this is it, man. We're invested in this, and we get involved very quickly.
Yeah.
Didn't want to be passengers there because with a big church, you just get engulfed and know no one.
You sit on the sidelines a bit.
And so get involved in worship, and we started life groups and mainly music, and now obviously I'm running a Smart Recovery meeting out of Gateway as well, which is on Thursdays at 9:30 a.m.
There you go. There's your plug.
There's the plug.
Well done.
On the world famous Richard Bryant show.
Yeah, definitely.
There you go.
For sure.
So yeah, and then hanging out with folks like you, talking about all stuff. It brings back so many memories, and I don't look back on them with any pain or regret or anything, man. That's just amazing.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, it has been awesome. We should probably wrap it up, I think.
Yes, my wife will probably be like...
Yeah, I've got an assessment. I've got an assignment for uni due tomorrow night and one on Thursday.
Tomorrow night, so not tomorrow. So
tomorrow afternoon.
You're doing an all-nighter tonight.
I think I will be because it's so funny. Like for the first couple of trimesters, I was like a mature age student, like bang, straight onto it, smashing it out. This one, I don't know what it is. I've just been slack,
struggling.
Yeah, struggling to get in the game. So,
but that's the kind of mid dip, isn't it? Like you're kind of so encouraged and then you just kind of
which I'm critical of because
dig your way through that.
Yeah,
because I remember I left with nothing. Yeah, right, and I went back to we'll wrap up. Sorry,
that's all right. It's all good.
I went back to obviously doing a degree. In addiction studies when I was working at the rehab. Yeah. And I remember I was, engaged with Sarah. I think we were married maybe a year or two into marriage. And I didn't have any qualifications. So all the work that I'd done, I did a portfolio and I had to do this assignment just to get into uni. Yeah. And I wrote this thing and I let Sarah read it. She was like, what is that? Obviously in a funny Kiwi accent. Yeah. I was like, what do you mean? You can't send that to uni. I don't think you understand what uni papers are meant to be like, and she helped me understand that, and I sent one that got me into the course. And honestly, the first year I was bailing out, man. I didn't know. It was so hard. I was working full time at the rehab and traveling down to England. Yeah, wow. Every 3 weeks to do tutorials and stuff. Living in another city, commuting in just for a few days. And I remember at times where I was looking up to the stars. My God, I can't do this. Show me a sign. All right, back into it. Like about 2 or 3 times that happened, man. I'm like, okay, let's keep going. And after failing in my first couple of assignments, I have to resit them in that first entry paper, which was just laughable. I got my final dissertation. I got a first. Yeah, well, smashed it. Forgot all of it by now. Like honestly, if you read my texts and emails, I put it down to predictive text, and now you can't touch your phone. I'm voice text, and as I said, voice text doesn't pick up Scottish accent. So I'm sending all sorts of stuff to people and they're like, what? Thankfully, most of it's not too too formal. But there are some things, like when I call Sarah, sometimes it comes up with Satan. I'm like, I've got to just sweetheart, I love you, man. I love you. Yeah. But, the voice text doesn't work well for me. So anyway. Hopefully tonight it's been a little bit more understood. Definitely. The more you sit and talk to someone, you start tuning into the accent, don't you? You've understood 60% of what I said. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, you do.
65.
Even at the very start, there were some words I was like, I have to listen in a bit more, but you do kind of, they hear a lot more. But anyway, I hope everyone's enjoyed that. I've loved
stuff, man. I appreciate it. I love what you've been doing. It's a privilege. A year later down the track, I'm sorry it took so long.
We made it happen. It's all good. It's been awesome. Thanks, mate. Really good. I've loved hearing your story.
Good stuff. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate.